What if the maps we use today aren't the first, but just the latest copies of something far older? Author and researcher Graham Hancock has claimed that powerful voices tried to silence him when he spoke about an ancient world map that could rewrite history. But why would anyone want to keep such knowledge hidden? What if our accepted history, the story we tell ourselves about our origins, is missing a chapter? A foundational chapter that could rewrite everything we thought we knew. For decades, author Graham Hancock has pursued a radical idea that fragments of a forgotten map, a ghost from a lost world, exist hidden in plain sight within our own archives, waiting for us to re-examine old evidence with new eyes. He suggests these aren't just any maps. They are the last remnants of a comprehensive world map, a master document created by a highly advanced seafaring civilization that vanished in a global cataclysm. This source map, he argues, was copied in fragmented forms by later cultures, each generation losing more of the original's stunning clarity, yet retaining echoes of its impossible genius. These echoes are found in enigmatic charts like the Piri Reis map. But what did the original show? According to Hancock, it depicted the world with an accuracy that should have been impossible. It allegedly charted coastlines with modern precision and calculated longitude, a feat not officially achieved until the 18th century. Most astonishingly of all, it may have shown continents as they were during the last ice age. Imagine a map depicting the coastline of Antarctica, not as a frozen wasteland buried under miles of ice, but as it was over 12,000 years ago. A temperate landmass, potentially free of its immense ice cap and open to exploration. This is where Hancock's argument becomes simple, yet utterly explosive. If such maps exist, it shatters the conventional timeline of human progress. It implies a global civilization with sophisticated technology, advanced mathematics, astronomy, and a worldwide perspective, at a time when history tells us our ancestors were simple hunter-gatherers. They must have possessed knowledge far beyond what historians admit. The implications are staggering, suggesting a forgotten episode in human history, a mother culture that could be the source of universal myths and architectural wonders across the globe. This isn't just a historical debate, it's a direct challenge to the foundations of our past, asking us to consider that we are a species with amnesia, haunted by the ghosts of a past far grander and more mysterious than we can imagine. Mainstream archaeologists strongly reject this idea, labeling it pseudo-archaeology. This isn't just a casual dismissal, it's a serious charge. In the world of science, archaeology relies on a rigorous method, formulating a hypothesis, gathering physical evidence, and submitting findings to a jury of peers for scrutiny. Critics argue that Hancock's work bypasses this process, starting with a grand conclusion, a lost Ice Age civilization, and then cherry-picking data to fit it. They argue that most of his supposed evidence comes from misinterpretations of known historical maps, like the famous Piri Reis chart from the 1500s. Hancock suggests it shows an ice-free Antarctica, a feat impossible for its time. But cartographic experts offer a more grounded explanation. The map likely depicts the coast of South America, distorted by the Admiral Piri Reis to fit the parchment, a common practice before modern surveying. The controversy extends far beyond this single map. Take Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey. Dated to over 11,000 years ago, its sophisticated stone pillars were built by what were thought to be simple hunter-gatherers. Hancock sees this as a clear sign of influence from his lost civilization. Archaeologists, however, see it as proof that early humans were far more capable than we ever imagined, revolutionizing our understanding of societal development without needing a mythical outside influence. Similarly, the underwater Yonaguni Monument in Japan, which Hancock champions as a sunken city, is widely considered by marine geologists to be a fascinating but entirely natural rock formation. So when Hancock says he was silenced, critics see it differently. From their perspective, it's not censorship, but scholarly pushback. They contend that his work isn't being suppressed. It's being rejected because it fails to meet the basic standards of evidence and peer review required of any scientific theory. To them, claiming to be silenced is a rhetorical strategy to avoid academic critique and appeal directly to the public. Still, the sheer intensity of the controversy makes people wonder, why do these debates feel so fierce, almost personal? Perhaps it's because this isn't just a disagreement over pottery shards and old maps. It's a battle for the very narrative of human history. For academics, it's about defending a discipline built on decades of meticulous, evidence-based work. For Hancock and his supporters, it's about a search for a deeper, more mysterious meaning in our collective past. A story that feels more epic than the one told in textbooks. Imagine an ancient seafaring culture capable of crossing oceans, measuring coastlines, and charting the planet long before recorded history. If true, such a civilization could explain myths of lost golden ages and why stories of global floods appear in so many cultures. Could remnants of their knowledge survive in scattered maps, passed from one civilization to the next? Whether or not Hancock's forbidden map exists, one thing is certain: we've only scratched the surface of human history. Vast ruins remain buried beneath jungles and deserts. Satellites are revealing structures never seen before, and every discovery raises new questions about what our ancestors really knew. Maybe Hancock isn't entirely right, but maybe he isn't entirely wrong either. So, was Graham Hancock truly silenced? Or was he simply a courageous challenger to a rigid system, one that fiercely defends its established version of history at all costs? The academic world often dismisses his work as pseudoscience, a dangerous blend of speculation and misinterpretation. They argue their timeline is built on decades of meticulous, peer-reviewed research. But for a growing number of people, Hancock represents a necessary voice of dissent, asking questions the mainstream is too afraid to consider. Is it a conspiracy to suppress a world-changing truth, or the responsible gatekeeping of scientific integrity against a tide of misinformation? The ultimate truth, as is so often the case, may lie somewhere in the vast, uncharted territory between hard science and inspired speculation. On one hand, we have the established framework, radiocarbon dating, geological strata, and the painstaking work of archaeologists who've built our current understanding of the past piece by piece. It's a model of human history that is logical and evidence-based. On the other hand, we have the tantalizing possibility that this model is incomplete. History is filled with examples of scientific dogma being overturned by radical new ideas. Could Hancock's theories, while speculative, contain a kernel of truth that forces us to re-examine everything we thought we knew? And that is the ultimate, tantalizing mystery. If a sophisticated, ancient civilization did indeed map the entire world with stunning accuracy long before the age of exploration, the implications are staggering. It would rewrite our entire origin story. What else might they have known? Did they possess advanced knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering that we are only now beginning to rediscover? Were the great megalithic structures not primitive tombs, but markers of a global scientific legacy? And if this is all true, why are we only hearing faint whispers of it today? Was their knowledge lost in a cataclysm that reset human civilization, leaving only scattered survivors to pass down their stories as myths and legends? The search for these answers isn't just about the past. It's about understanding who we are, where we came from, and the forgotten heights our ancestors may have reached.